Good morning, everybody. It's January the 3rd, Friday morning, 2020. The new year is 3 whole days old. I'm Brett, your Thankful Carnivore, and this is today's Thankful Carnivore Report, where I babble about things related to the carnivore way of eating, and I appreciate people taking time out of their day to listen to me babble about. You folks on Instagram TV yesterday were just amazing. Over 300 views. I appreciate that immensely. Please feel free to leave comments, share these videos with anybody you think might benefit from them. And you can follow me across my social media at thankful.carnivore. On Twitter, where the meat-eating savages just run wild. It's Stickman Bleeding. That's STICKMANBLEEDIN. Don't add a G. Facebook, YouTube, you can find me at Thankful Carnivore. Listen, don't forget, it's Fiber-Free Friday. Today is the 536th day I've gone with zero dietary fiber, experiencing zero constipation, zero headaches since July 2018, zero joint pain since July 2018. If fiber is so essential, why am I not in severe physiological distress? Why am I not deceased? That's a question I would love for Dr. Michael Greger or Dr. Joel Kahn to answer one day. But back to today's topic, avoiding sabotage, self-sabotage. Now, this is not about so much eating things that we know we shouldn't, but in general, in life. I have a unique experience with self-sabotage because I literally was an expert at it for over 40 years of my life. And I'm still too much of an expert at it. And I have to guard against it every day, but not because of food, but because of behavior. I learned over 40 plus years of being mentally ill, how to not be polite in my speaking and especially in my writing. And while I've got the speaking issue pretty well under control, thankfully, the writing issue still rears its ugly head now and then. I have to proofread any email, any message before I send it. And if my wife's home, I should probably let her read it first before I send it too. Because what I think is not exactly what's on the page. This is especially true when I'm typing. I might be trying to say, I had a problem with X, Y, and Z, and I would like some information on how to resolve it. That's my thinking. What is written down is a mini rant full of thick with sarcastic frustration, let's say. That's the nice way of putting it. Usually can be very abrasive. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to send emails to anybody like that. Number one, it's rude. Number two, it doesn't solve anything. Even if I have legitimate reasons to feel that way, expressing that in an email to somebody usually just pisses them off or irritates them. And it obfuscates the reason why you're frustrated gets lost because of the poor way you expressed yourself. For me, the poor way I express myself on occasions. So the thing I want to impress upon everybody is we can mess this up really fast if we don't do the things we know we should do. For me, it's not just food I have to be conscious of, although that's pretty easy. I have zero desire to eat anything but meat. I have zero desire to drink anything but water. That issue's pretty well resolved. But this behavioral stuff, sometimes in the evenings I'll get an email, it's late at night, I'm tired, I am not in the right frame of mind to deal with a problem, and I have responded poorly. And I apologize. I've had to apologize profusely to the people I've done this to. How do I avoid it? I'm going to do a better job at proofreading what I've written, and when possible, I'm going to let my wife go over it just to make sure. Just to make sure. I don't want to sabotage any goodwill that I have built up with anyone. Now, how can this translate to you? How have you self-sabotaged yourself over the years? For many of us, we did it with food because A, we were ignorant. We didn't know what we didn't know with regard to food. And, gosh, how many of us have just shook our heads when we think, man, if I'd only known sooner. But we have to learn now. Okay? We're in the now. We have to learn now. For a lot of people, eating unhealthy foods, real sweet things, became a source of self-medication. And there would be behaviors that went with that. A lot of people aren't always their nicest when their sugar source is threatened. And maybe sugar wasn't necessarily the cognitive enhancer that we originally thought, because now we know it's not. It causes inflammation from outside the brain, but to the brain. It causes, it just causes a nightmare of problems. Fatty liver, insulin resistance. Oh my gosh. Just a myriad of problems that we just, but that was out of ignorance. We're not ignorant anymore. And the sugar addiction, as I described to somebody yesterday, I'm a sugar addict. I'm just no longer practicing. Because if I start eating sugar again, the addiction's right back, just like any other addiction. The effects will be serious. I'll be in a psych ward within 48 hours or less. That's pretty hardcore self-sabotage. Well, that's easy to avoid. A lot of folks had issues over the holidays and sabotaged themselves. They couldn't be around Aunt Maud's cookies or pass on Grandma's roll, or they felt pressure from Cousin Jake and Cousin Jane to stop being a recluse and come join and eat the food with everybody else. Oh, why are you missing Christmas dinner? Oh. And a lot of folks succumb to that pressure. So how do you avoid that? Well, you learn from it. You have to decide for yourself, am I going to sabotage my health? Am I going to put my well-being at risk to satisfy the needs of another person that I may only see once or twice a year? To satisfy some family tradition which really has no impact, no positive impact on my health whatsoever? I mean, think about it. My point here is just because we get clear of the illness doesn't mean the learning stops. In fact, the learning just has really starts all over again for many of us. I didn't, when I lost my depression skills, as I've said many times, I didn't suddenly have a toolbox full of happy skills to fall back on. And I'm still working, and it's a struggle some days to remember, be responsive, don't be reactive. Think about what you're saying. Proofread what I'm writing before I send it. My friends, we can unlearn the old self-sabotaging ways, and we can replace them with new healthy habits. I believe someone says if you do something over 100 times in a row, it becomes a habit. I've never tested that, but I know I've got a lot of good habits now that have replaced a lot of old bad ones. And I've got more bad habits that I've got to kick to the curb. And we're going to get it done because I'm going to keep eating meat and drinking water. My clarity of thought's going to continue to improve, and I'm going to be a better person for the experience. You could do exactly the same thing in a way that suits your life and your needs, to unlearn the old habits that you've got to unlearn and replace them with positive, good for you, good for your family, good for the world kind of habits. I hope this makes sense, my friends. I want you all to have a wonderful day. Thank you all very much for the messages on YouTube, etc. I appreciate those very much. Do the things you know you need to do to take care of you. Eat your meat, drink your water. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see everybody on Tuesday. Don't forget meetrx.com, where you can get a 30-minute coaching session for under $20. Check it out. And never, ever forget, you've got something to be thankful for. We'll see you Tuesday.